My name's Eve, the girl said, and smiled. It was a sweet, funny kind of smile, something that invited Claire to share in a private joke. Yeah, my parents really named me that. Go figure. It looks like they knew how I'd turn out. Her smile faded and she took a good look at Claire's face. Wow, geez, nice black eye. Who hit you? Nobody. Claire said it instantly, without even thinking why, although she knew in her bones that Goth Eve was in no way besties, friends with preppy Monica. I had an accident. Yeah, Eve has. I used to have those kind of accidents, falling into fists and stuff. Like I said, I am a client. You okay? You need a doctor or something? I can drive you if you want. She gestured to the street next to them, and Claire realized that while she'd been sobbing her eyes out, an ancient beater of a black Cadillac, complete with tail fins, had been docked to the curb. There was a cherry-looking skull dangling from the rearview mirror, and Claire had no doubt that the back bumper would be plastered with stickers for emo bands nobody had ever heard of. She liked Eve already. No, she said, and swiped at her eyes angrily with the back of her hand. Look, I'm sorry. It's been a really awful day. I was coming to ask about the room, but... Right, the room! He snapped her fingers as if she'd forgotten all about it, and jumped up and down over 3 times during the segment. Great! I'm just home for break. I work over at Common Grounds, the coffee shop. Michael won't be up for a while yet, but you can come in and see the house if you want. I don't know if Shane's around, but I don't know if I should. You should. You totally should. Eve rolled her eyes. You wouldn't believe the losers we see trying to get in the door. I mean, seriously, freaks. You're the first normal one I've seen so far. Michael would kick my ass if I let you get away without at least trying a sales pitch. Claire blinked. Somehow she'd been thinking that she'd be the one begging for them to consider her a normal. Eve thought she was normal? Sure, she heard herself say. Yeah, I'd like that. Eve grabbed her backpack and slung it over her purse in the shape of a coffin. Follow me. And she bounced away up the walk to the gracious Southern Gothic front porch to unlock the door. Up close the house looked old, but not really run down as such. Weathered, Claire decided. Could have used some paint here and there. And the cast iron chairs needed a coat too. The front door was actually double-sized, with a big stained glass panel at the top. Yo! Eve yelled and dumped Claire's backpack on a table in the hallway. Her purse next to it. Her keys and an antique-looking ashtray with a cast iron monkey on the band handle. Roomies, we've got a live one! It occurred to Claire as the doors boomed shut behind her that there were a couple of ways to interpret that, and one of them, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre way, wasn't good. She stopped the moving frozen and just looked around. Nothing overly creepy about the inside of the house, at least. Lots of wood, clean and simple. Chips of paint knocked off of the corners, like it had seen a lot of life. It smelled like lemon polish. And chili? Yo! Eve yelled again and clumped on down the hall. It opened up to a bigger room. From what Claire could see, there were big leather couches and bookshelves, like a real home. Maybe this was what off-campus housing looked like. If so, it was a big step up from dorm life. Shane, I smell the chili. I know you're here. Get your headphones out of your ears. What? She couldn't quite imagine Texas Chainsaw Massacre taking place in a room like that either. That was a plus. Or, for that matter, serial killing roommates doing something as homey as making chili. Good chili from the way it smelled. With garlic? She took a couple of hesitant steps down the hallway. Eve's footsteps were clunking off into the other room. Maybe the kitchen. The house seemed very quiet. Nothing jumped out to scare her. So Claire proceeded one careful foot after another, all the way into the big central room. And a guy laying sprawled on the couch, the way only guys could sprawl, yawned and sat up, rubbed his head when Claire opened her mouth. Whether to say hello or to yell for help, she didn't know. He surprised her into silence by grinning at her and putting his finger over his mouth to shush her. Hey, he whispered. I'm Shane. What's up? He blinked a couple of times and without any change in his expression said, Dude, that is a bile shiner. Hurts, huh? She nodded slightly. Shane swung his legs off the couch and sat there, watching her, elbows on his knees and hands dangling loosely. He had brown hair, cut in even layers that didn't quite manage to look punk. He was an older boy. Older than her, anyway. 18? A big guy, and tall to match it. Big enough to make her feel more miniature than usual. She thought his eyes looked brown, but she didn't dare meet them for more than a flicker at a time. "So I guess you're gonna say that the other chick looks worse," Shane said. She shook her head, then winced when motion made it hurt even more. "No, how did you know it was a chick?" "Easy. Sajwar, a guy would have put you in the hospital with a punch hard enough to leave a mark like that. So what's up with that? You don't look like you go looking for trouble." She felt like she ought to take offense about that, but honestly, this whole thing was starting to feel like some strange dream anyway. Maybe she'd never woken up at all. Maybe she was laying in a coma in a hospital bed, and Shane was just her lame-ass equivalent of the Cheshire Cat. "I'm Claire," she said, and waved awkwardly. "Hi." He nodded toward a leather-winged chair. She slid into it, feet dangling, and felt a weird sense of relief wash over her. It felt like home, although of course it wasn't, and she was starting to think that it really couldn't be. She didn't fit here. She couldn't actually imagine who would. "You want something?" Shane asked suddenly. "Coke, maybe? Chili? Bus ticket back home?" "Coke," she said, unsurprisingly. "And chili." "Good choice. I made it myself." He slid off the couch, weirdly boneless for his size, and padded barefoot into the kitchen where Eve had gone. Claire listened to a blur of voices as the two of them talked and relaxed, one morsel at a time, into the soft embrace of the chair. She hadn't noticed until now, but the house was kept cool, and the lazy circle of the ceiling fan overhead swept chilly air over her hot, aching face. It felt nice. She opened her eyes at the sound of Eve's shoes clomping back into the room. Eve was carrying a tray with a red and white can, a bowl, a spoon, and an ice pack. She set the tray on a coffee table and nudged the table toward Claire with her knee. "Ice pack first," she said. "You can never tell what Shane puts in the chili. Be afraid." Shane padded back to the couch and flopped, sucking on his own can of soda. Eve shot him an exasperated look. "Yeah, man, thanks for bringing me one too. The raccoon I make up exaggerator or dork. Didn't know if you wanted zombie or sprinkled in on it or anything. If you're eating this week. Dork! Go on, eat. Claire, I'll go get my own." Claire picked up the spoon and tried a tentative bite of the chili, which was thick and meaty and spicy, heavy on the garlic. Delicious, in fact. She'd gotten used to cafeteria food, and this was just wow. Not. Shane watched her eyebrows go up and started to shovel in. "Skid," she mumbled. He gave her a lazy salute. By the time she was halfway through the bowl, Eve was back with her own tray, which she plunked down on the other half of the coffee table. Eve sat on the floor, crossed her legs and nodded. "Not bad," she finally said. "At least you left out oh my god sauce this time." "Made myself a batch with it," she said. "It's got the biohazard sticker on it in the fridge, so don't bitch if you get flamed." "Where'd you pick up the stray?" "Outside. She came to see the room." "You beat her up first, just to make sure she's tough enough?" "Bite me, chilly boy." "Don't mind Eve," they told Claire. "She hates working days. She's afraid she'll tan." "Yeah, and Shane just hates working. So what's your name?" Claire opened her mouth, but Shane beat her to it, clearly happy to one-up his roomie. "Claire. What, you didn't even ask?" "A chick beat her up too. Probably some skank in the dorms. You know how that place is." They exchanged a look. A long one. Eve turned back to Claire. "Is that true? You got beat up in the dorm?" She nodded hastily, shoveled more food in her mouth to keep from having to say much. "Well, that totally blows. No wonder you're looking for the room." Another nod. "You didn't bring much with you." "I don't have much. Just the books and maybe a couple of things back in my room. But I don't want to go back there to get stuff. Not tonight." "Why not?" Shane had grabbed a ratty-looking old baseball from the floor and tossed it up toward the tall ceiling, narrowly missing the spinning blades of the fan. He caught it without effort. "Somebody still looking to pound you?" "Yeah," Claire said and looked down into her fast diminishing chili. "Guess so. It's not just her, she's got friends, and I don't that place. Just, well, it's creepy." "Been there," Ethan said. "Oh, wait, still there." Shane mimed throwing a baseball at her. She mimed ducking. "What time is Michael getting up?" Shane gave her another mock throw. "Hell, Eve, I don't know. I love the guy, but I don't love the guy." Go bang on his door and ask. Me, I'm gonna go get ready. Ready for what? You're not seriously going out again, are you? Seriously? Yeah, bowling. Her name's Laura. If you want more details, you're gonna have to download the video like everybody else. Shane rolled off the couch, stood up, and padded off toward the wide stairs leading up to the second floor. See you later, Claire. Eve made a frustrated sound. Wait a minute. So, what do you say? You think she'd do okay here, or what? Shane waved a hand. Whatever, man. Far as I'm concerned, she's okay. He gave Claire one quick look and crooked an oddly sweet smile, and bounded up the stairs. He moved like an athlete, but without the swagger she was used to. Kind of hot, actually.